Oh, Figaro. Oh shit, we're live. Damn it, no bad words. Oh, what's that
What's
sound?
that?
Is that somebody fucking a pig? Okay.
Well, that was definitely within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, it was. They're banging lagoons. Hey guys. Welcome back to TableBreakers. This is episode 35. Tonight we will be discussing games that have gone wrong and how we fix them or how they have ended. Go ahead.
No, I had all kinds of sound go crazy. Sorry.
It's all right. Welcome for those of you that are here, and for those of you that will be showing up very shortly. Thank you. I am Bruce. Tonight I'm joined by Connell, Kai, Baron G Rock, Shadow, and Jade. Before we get into the meat, you guys want to give yourselves an introduction? Start with Connell.
Hi, if you guys don't know me by now, my name is Connell, this Guardian. I have a show this coming Saturday, the Talking RPG with Vets will be part 2 of the first one I did about 2 weeks ago. And on Sunday, me and the guy directly below me will be talking about Dresden Files, Fool's Moon, which we'll be doing the second part of that book, and hopefully be starting into the next book called Grave Peril, which is the third book in the season, which most people who are Dresden fans really start to think that the story gets up and going. Finally, somebody's behind the driver's wheel and the car is going in a great direction. That's who I am. I'm going to pass over to the guy to my left who's playing the Ninja Turtle because he is turtle enough to be in the Turtle Club.
I have an opinion per se. You know who I am. Bye.
Wow. Go ahead, Jade.
I'm Jade. I haven't got any content out yet. I'm working on it. Got a lot of things in the fire here. Sometimes I get too many irons in the fire. I'm also working on my own campaign notes and 40-hour week job, so or more, just depending. But you'll see me pop up occasionally, sometime in the nearish future. I hope.
We all do.
Well, that was anti-thematic.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of things going.
Shadow and Sun, tell us about yourself.
Howdy, folks. You guys probably all getting tired of seeing me, but too bad. My son and I were going to be taking over the airwaves sooner than later. Little guy and I, we do craft videos, game reviews, gun show hauls, and whatever other shenanigans we can get ourselves into with the help of this guy right up here and the help of all these other guys over here and diagonal. Any chance we get, old school games, some new school games, as long as it's gaming, as long as it's hobbying, that's what we're all about. Hope to see you guys over there whenever you get the chance, because we're all about having fun with our friends and our family, and I think the world could use a whole lot more of that right about now.
Agreed. Baron, what say you, my friend?
I say me. You want me to actually talk? Okay. I am Baron G Rock. I am the only nobility on the panel. But yeah, I do a little bit of everything on my channel. I haven't posted in a little bit, and I do apologize about that. I've started another new job, so unfortunately, studying because I'm going into insurance. So studying insurance is not a fun thing, and I've got the state test here in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, after I get through the first part and the second part, we'll be ready to rock and roll. So I should be putting out some new stuff here in the next week or two. I may sit down on Monday since I'm off Monday and actually hammer some stuff out. So
should I change your name in my phone book to Guilford Godfrey?
No.
He did the insurance of the duck.
He doesn't work for that company.
I don't work for that company.
Affleck.
And then he was fired from that company unceremoniously.
It was a rather funny day when he did, though, because it was a funny joke, and they really just didn't get that. All right, so
You're right. Parrothead's already on top of it. St. Kai.
St. Kai of the Rents.
St. Kai of Assisi. St. Kai of the disappeared.
Okay, so there was a period of time where I was at the game room 6 nights a week, and it was interesting. Say again?
It was 7.
Yeah.
Damn near.
I was still trying to cut my teeth as a DM. I'd been doing it for 10 years, and I was starting to get moments in my games where things were coming together, and then somebody would say a joke or like, "Oh, I got to go home, guys," or part of my team would just break off and like, "I got to go. We got school in the morning," or we got to do a thesis. Blah 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 blah. So like, and now here we are with like 3/5 of mojo we had, and just can't get the mojo rising, and we beat our head against a lot of it. And eventually Garrett started hanging out in my groups a lot because like there was a group of people we had. I was the only non-married person in this group. And Garrett and his wife were there. His first wife was there, not his current wife. Not the good wife, the bad wife.
That was the second wife. Not the first wife. You never met the first wife.
You're right, and she shall not be named. She's Tammy 1. The one I'm talking about is Tammy 2. There's a VHS tape behind you in a drawer. And if you ever need to talk to me about Tammy 2, just put that VHS tape in your player, and I'll help you, Garrett. Anyway.
What are friends for, right?
So we had this group of married people, and had 6 players, I think. So it was Randy and his wife, and Mike, and Faith, and then Sir Baron right there. And the game went for about, I'd say, a month. And most of my players were enjoying it because we were getting things done, and they were starting to play in Tolus. And Tolus, if you don't know, by the way,
Drink.
Yeah. So we're playing in Tolus, and everybody's having fun. That book right there. How thick is that book, Garrett? How many pages?
This is the one that we were playing out of. This isn't the reskin. So
No, not the reskin.
670.
And it came with a DVD with 2 notes for full campaigns. It came with adventures on the DVD, maps, all sorts of stuff. And these players are eating up, they're loving it, and I'm running it night after night. And I did not realize that certain gamers you cannot belittle in game. No matter what's going on in the game world, you have to massage your players and be nice with them. And I insulted one guy who felt he had a lot of pull because he bought every miniature that came out. He would buy it and paint it up and put it in his basement. He must have an amazing basement. Amazing. And I insulted
God help
him.
him if he ever had a fire, because he's got so many lead miniatures down there.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yep.
I want to know if he rolls a 1 versus fire on the initiative.
Oh, you've been in negatives.
He's crippled now. Like, he was not in good shape then. He was still walking back then. This is 06, 07. And what happened was we had a night, and one of the players, Mike, got insulted by one of the NPCs because she beats him in a duel. and then he's trying to figure out how to recoup this, and she's got him bleeding on the ground, and I believe she either almost kills him or killed him. I don't remember which, but he got upset, and so that game group just shattered. After that, the store owner, the son of the previous store owner, tells me, he's like, no, I don't think anybody's ever done that to Wallace before, because everybody here is kind of scared because he spends a lot of money here. And I mean, I'm not really worried. He could go to me or the guy in Peoria, no big deal, but he'll be back, I think. And it was kind of weird because I was getting my chops busted as a DM, and now I'm playing with the people in this community that we're seeing a lot of the people come in and want to play a few games with us, and then they'll go and leave. They'll say, well, he does good with these monsters, or he does good with these NPCs. But I was getting my chops busted as a young 30-something because I had the time to be there, and I would run a few games for Carl and Robert because those two would make themselves available for any game you ran.
Carl.
The Carl stories are the best. We'll have the pie episode on Thanksgiving Day. So
No, New Year's.
it was New Year's, wasn't it? Damn it.
Yep.
Had that pie been sitting there since Thanksgiving?
No,
I hope not.
I was the one that bought the pie.
Okay. So Carl and Robert taught me a few weeks later. Those two volunteer for my game, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of players. If you want to play 2 players each or 2 characters each, you can. And so they decided they would roll up characters, and yeah. By the way, letting these two have the entirety of the Pathfinder Millennium and some 3.5 stuff to generate characters by, you could run 5th level monsters at these 1st level characters, and the characters would just slaughter the monsters. Kai's over there laughing. So I got my ass handed to me a lot, and I started putting it together as to how I could entertain, and how I started having to with like the first group, I had to socially just kind of gauge myself as to where I'm at in the pecking order, and not offend somebody that thinks there's something special just because they make over $125,000 a year in retirement funds, because there are multiple injuries. They've got other things at play, 2 or 3 Bs at play, and all this crap that really a GM shouldn't have to worry about. Like, we're here to play a game, and if you get offended or insulted, just keep your ass seated and keep playing the next round. It karma slaps everybody, but he didn't like that. He's like, I've already gotten injured in life. I don't need to be slapped in game. What? And it was kind of funny because, just as an aside, 2 years ago, his wife was in a game of ours, and there was a incident where the dungeon, the cool thing to talk about, we had to get hate clicks at the time, was you talk about the wheelchair people in Dungeons and Dragons, because there's a girl that's in a wheelchair writing a blog, and she made a lot of social cred. She's high up on the social media because she's like, I want to be represented. And it was funny because I heard about this, and I just started rolling with it. Like, you guys are in the Oar and Bucket Inn in Zelker's Ferry, not too far from a really dangerous dungeon, and you see these people come in these weird contraptions, and they wheel themselves up to a table, and they make sure all the chairs are scooted out, but they all are dressed like fighter, mage, cleric, thief, and so like the entire community around these people start going to the table where all the handicappers are, and they start celebrating them like, oh my God, this is so great. We're going to have a lot of fun, and you're going to become big heroes, blah, 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 blah. And the party's kind of interested in this, and they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. We just came out of a dungeon, and we're celebrating our losses and our winnings. And the next day, a person drags himself out of a pit of despair as without their wheelchair, and they're crying, and the rest of the town kind of mobilizes and goes down and brings up the broken wheelchairs and the broken bodies, and This is on a video of ours, and I narrate. Like, what hurt you? What type of monster was it? It was the pit traps. No, the stairs were the worst. And I actually RP'd this. And Faith got pissed. And she's quit. Like 30 seconds of harumphing. And like then she just shut her camera off, and I've never seen her since.
Oh wow! I know who you're talking about. Oh boy!
Go ahead, Kai.
No, I don't need to say anything because I'm waiting my turn.
Hey, Foulball Productions. How you doing, sir?
But I'm not going to badmouth this individual because no.
I'm not bad-mouthing her. I just thought it was hilarious that she got offended that I would put such a moment of realism in a game.
That's weird. That's weird.
If you guys want to speak up, I mean, I can go for a full half hour and just talk where like the game stopped. I can go for probably 45 minutes. And what I did to correct the thing with Mike and Faith was just don't kind of insult them or step on their sensitivities. That's the takeaway from there. Like certain players you have to handle with bubble wrap. And I hate that. You do.
Isn't this the exact opposite game for that kind of personality, though?
No,
you're going to get stabbed. You're going to get stabbed. You're going to get hit. You're going to get poisoned and robbed. If any of that, right off the bat, any of the things I just mentioned are too much for you in a fantasy game, you might want to, rethink the whole hobby.
The game as a whole brings all kinds of personalities to the table. It really does. I could think of players, a player at one of the tables I first started on had to be the best. He had to be better than everybody.
I've got one of those.
Still does.
And, when he gets hurt, it's not that bad. But wait, you're missing a leg, an arm, and half of your penis. Oh, it's okay. It's not that bad. But when somebody else gets hurt, he's like, oh, man, you see what my character did? If you didn't do that and do what my character did, you'd be okay, too.
Wow.
But there's a video out there of him just throwing his dead weight around, and it just doesn't work out for him. But I don't know. I know one of the people you're talking about because I gamed with her the first time. Gamed with her, and I did not know she had such a sensitive, soft-skinned. But yeah, no, this game brings all types of people to the table. Always have and always will. You're either going to be egomaniac who thinks you're the best player in the world, or you're going to be a masochist. No, DM, please keep hurting me. Keep hurting my fictional character, or you're going to get something in the middle.
Yeah. So
hurt me, heal me. Hurt me, heal me. Okay.
Go ahead.
My
Barry.
safe word is banana. My safe word is banana.
Kumquat. This is my safe word.
But no, the whole thing is that sometimes you're gonna have those games where shit goes sideways. You're gonna piss. Yeah, I'm gonna be blunt, which normally I'm not. I tend to be like the politically correct one, but yeah, I'm gonna be blunt. There's just gonna be times when
if I have a toggle over here, it will be set to Garrett is blunt.
yes. For the thing is that some people, it's just it is their release, their way of getting away, but sometimes that there's just too much sensitivity that is need to be thrown around, and unfortunately, you're playing a game. Your sensitivities don't matter. someone's going to piss in your Wheaties. And you know what? You either get mad, take your ball, go home, or you're going to sit there and take it like the fucking rest of us at the fucking table. And then you're going to pull your dice out and say, okay, you son of a bitch, I'm going to roll and kill you. This is how this works. Like it, don't like it, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Agreed.
I mean, think about it. We all, I don't know exactly, I'm going to be a little general here, but I know I started when I was 12 or 13 years old playing this game. My first game, I got killed. We'll talk about that, or we've talked about that later. The invisible bugbears that could see us because they were invisible and we were invisible bullshit. Yeah, I know. Everybody I know, we all started out really, really young, and we got killed every game. We'd make up a character, and then we'd be dead. And maybe if we were lucky and quick enough, we could roll up another character during the same game and jump back in because we wanted to play the game. The dying and the getting chopped up in pieces, losing eyes, limbs, and other things, including our most prized possessions, were a regular occurrence. This isn't, it's not a video game where you can just hit reset and go back to your save and everything's fine. There are consequences, and there are horrible, horrible things that are going to happen to each and every one of us playing this game, regardless of what game it is. If you think you're going to just waltz through it like you're Jack Sparrow and everything's going to go your way, you've got another thing coming.
So you say that, and I just have a mental image. Maybe it's because I saw this movie here recently. I finally broke down and watched it. But duct taping the DM to a chair as I'm playing the music, stuck in the middle with you in the background, as I'm kind of dancing back and forth, taking a baseball bat to this guy. I just, that's my reaction to DMs like that. That's where my mind goes. Now.
Steelers Wheel, great song, great movie. Everybody should know what he's talking about.
Yes.
I'm a horrible person.
I can't hear that song without thinking the same thing, just picturing somebody else. And I don't know if anybody noticed this weird trivia thing, that the guy who played the cop, I don't know if anybody knew this or noticed, but he was already deaf.
Oh, yeah. What were you going to say, Jade?
I was just gonna comment. I've had all types at my table as well. I've had the really overly sensitive types. I've had the types that say you can't do that to this game. You can't do that. That's not what the rules say. I've had those types. And when I want to introduce a new concept to a game, like I tried introducing minor dismemberment on critical hits. Now, a lot of people, are going to have mixed feelings about that, but I'm sorry, when you get critically hit, a critical organ or critical thing has, been damaged. That's going to leave a scar. Like even with magical healing, that can leave some permanent damage or permanent scarring. And my players just didn't want. They wanted to be these immaculate beings that could not get scarred, could not get dismembered, could not lose digits of any kind. They were basically wanting to play gods in the game, and it was like level 8 or 9. And I'm like, wow, okay, so you're gods. Congratulations. You snap your fingers. Game's over. You won. Like, is that what you want to have happen? Because I can magically just whip that out and say, yeah, okay, next game. If that's how you guys feel about that, because they wanted these characters to be pretty much immortal, and never die, and I just but death happens. Like, you guys aren't, the immortal beings. You are, mortal characters. Shit's gonna happen, especially in war zones, like where you're treading. Like, you step on a landmine, you expect to walk away from it? Are you kidding me? Really? So yeah, I've had a lot of those types over the years, and I've been playing and mastering the game for over 20 years now. And I mean, there's no easy way to deal with it half the time, especially if it's happening like at the beginning of a night, and you're just like, well, where do we go from here? I've really had that happen actually at the beginning of a night. I wanted to introduce a concept, and everyone's like, nope, we're not doing that. Like, okay, so I'm going to turn the reins over to you, and you get to run the game. Because obviously my concept is not okay. Even though I said from the onset of the very beginning of the game, you are going to be going through hell. Like, it is a war zone campaign. This is, the entire concept is surviving an almost winnable war. But if you guys manage to get through it, you will be the big damn heroes. You will be the enders of this war. Don't expect to be pretty by the time you get out the other side of it. And they just, halfway through the campaign, they just weren't having it. So I don't know, maybe my concept was flawed. I can admit that. I was being very experimental in that game.
I feel like I should apologize.
There's probably several games you should apologize for, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Man, those tough players are just really hard to get around, especially when you're already at the table or ready to play. And I don't know if I have the best answer for that. Maybe, you pull out a board game and you do that instead. Or you quickly switch what you're doing and go a different path. I'm not sure what the best answer there is. It's really only ever happened, I think, to me twice. Because after the first two instances I've ever had of that, I tend to avoid those kinds of scenarios. And just kind of sidestep it entirely. So.
I think I've only had one game where the DM outrightly walked out the door and didn't come back. But ironically enough, the rest of the party was okay with that. As a paid DM, I ride a very interesting line because there's only so much of my personality I can allow to come out where I'm not rubbing somebody the wrong way. If anybody, for those who have known me for a few years, will be the first one to say, yeah, that guy's a little bit of a pill. I try to be nice. I try to understand people, but I am a pill. I get that. Sometimes I'm hard to deal with, but when I'm being paid to DM, I have to make sure I cater my personality that best suits the clientele that I'm running for. I'm not saying I become a pushover, but there are certain jokes I would say to Bruce, Jade, Baron, Shadow, Kai that I can't say at those game shops. Right, wrong, or down the center. I just, that's not the place for them. So as a paid DM, I definitely have a little bit more of a tightrope I have to walk, more so than most DMs, I think. I could be wrong.
Absolutely. It's a totally different kind of dungeon mastering. That's how I got my start when I was 14, dungeon master for people our age now, and other kids and etc. But every game I had, I had kids my age all the way up to 40 and 50-year-olds, and it's a totally different situation. When people are putting their money down to play, they feel like they have a lot more power than they would at a normal table, and you have to lay down the law in the beginning, constant reminders, and you cannot take any crap from anybody, and never let anybody ever intimidate you. It's a totally different kind of dungeon mastering. With your friends, you can make jokes, you can put up stupid ideas, you can talk, you can interrupt the game, you can do all kinds of things that you really can't do in a paid situation.
Go for it, Kai.
I'm going to come at this from a different direction besides being the GM. I'm going to come at this from the idea of being the player who's watched a game disintegrate around him on multiple occasions. Because, see, unfortunately, I run my games kind of on a more I don't give a shit if you're here or not. And if you're that problem player at my table, I just ignore you and focus on everybody else. If you want to be, I take my shit and go home. Guess what? Door's over there. I keep running. And I've had players just go, oh, I'm done here. I'm like, don't care. I still have 5 other people. Bye. And then they come back later going, can I still play? Yeah, whatever. But no. On the other hand, I've seen GMs who have been on the, and this is what I hate, you're too good. Or you're doing this one thing and I don't like it. So I'm house ruling it so that way you can't do that thing that I don't like. And I'm like, but I'm using the rules. I don't like it. You can't do that. Okay, fine. I'll do something different. Make up something cool, make up something fun, come back and continue to be interesting, and then have the GM go, no, I don't like that. So you can't do that one either. Come back the next week. How's this one? No, I don't like that one either. And eventually it becomes this game of, so motherfucker, what am I allowed to be? What am I allowed to do? What role do you? And eventually it becomes, so the only thing I can possibly be is boring ass Spider-Man who comes from Player's Handbook only. Everybody else is having some fucking fun, but everyone else can be wild, wacky, and weird. But I guess because I'm doing something that you can't predict, you gotta say no over and over and over again until eventually I was like, fuck this campaign, I'm gone. Or come back the next, same guy comes, goes, I'm gonna do this other thing. Show up, I'm ready to play. Beat the living shit out of the guy, out of the poor bastard in game, and then have the GM go, yeah, we're not running this campaign anymore. Everybody else can have fun because you were just having fun. I'm like, I'm having fun with everybody else. I'm following the rules. Why is everything wrong? Because it didn't work how I want it to work. So I'm canceling the entire campaign. I'm like, well, fuck it. Okay, cool. And this is why I don't trust a lot of GMs who are like, here's our limitations. This is my list of limitations that you follow. And everybody else gets to have, sparkly fucking, amazing things, but you gotta play boring McFighter-Man in the background. If you need anything, just swing sword. That's your job. And if you get out of line, I'll fucking kill you. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm done. Why would I want to play these games? Why would I want to operate under these restrictions? And obviously, this is what all you knuckle dragon mouth breathers think is how the game is supposed to be, or how any game is supposed to be. Man, all these restrictions because you're too ignorant and uncreative to be able to actually play a good game. I think I'll go do something better with my time. Like run my own game with my own friends. And you can continue to sit here with your fucking simp core of people who will suck your dick because you're the GM that everyone likes because you've got $14 million of miniatures in your fucking basement. And, of course, you've got the nice big table that everyone can sit at that nobody else has got. So I guess we all gotta fucking suck your dick and make sure we all are happy here. Yeah, no, fuck it. I'll figure out how to put 8 people around a 4-person card table and use goddamn dice or cardboard chits as miniatures because I don't need $500,000 in miniatures to play a goddamn game.
But if, I would love to have $500,000 in miniatures, Kai.
I would too, but I don't need them. I don't need to have a bunch of simps who are.
Hey, Kai.
Yes.
I'm getting close to that much in miniatures, and you're always going to be welcome. I gotta have a quick question though.
But do you expect me to have to be like, dear GM, can I please have some fun at your table? I would really much like to, have a good game, but I need to make sure I don't offend you. Could you please give me all of your house rules and make sure that I don't somehow screw up? Because if I screw up, you're going to fuck me over, and that's no fun.
Kai.
Thank you for your blessings, dear GM. Thank you.
Kai, it would be an honor and a privilege to have you at my table. One of these days, we're going to make it so. I just gotta have.
Yeah.
Did you maybe do something outside the game, or something that shoved a stick up his ass against you, or maybe even in game? Did you intimidate the shit out of him?
No.
And
I'll tell you what happened. It's called playing the rule. It's called using the rule book. And when the rule book says you can do X, Y, and Z, and you do X, Y, and Z, but because X, Y, and Z does not gel his perfect idea, his paradigm, I was disrupting the inner piece and the paradigm of his reality. And therefore, being the arbitrator of all that is good, allowed, and possible in the universe, Paradox had to smack me and go, no, I'm customizing that rule. You can't do X, Y. I was like, you can do X and Y, but you can't do Z. Okay, well, I'm going to do X, Y, and something else. No, you can't do that. Okay, I'm going to do M, N, and O. No, you can't do that.
Kai,
how about
was
this
this the same guy that I had problems with?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait,
Yeah.
do I know said person?
Probably.
You know his wife.
But
Okay.
The thing is, okay, I don't really speak ill, but he's also the same person that when you're playing a tabletop game, like miniatures game, he will make sure that you're following the rule book to the T, but he'll cheat his ass off and not let you have the rules. He'll tell you the rules.
And if you buy the rule book and learn the rules and use the rules the way that the rules are supposed to be written, and then you beat his ass like a goddamn redheaded stepchild, he will fucking be like, campaign over, get the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a very...
What did I do? You read a rule book. Well, eat a dick. I'm allowed to read the rule book. Well, that's not how it works. And fuck you. That's how it does work. Well, I'm not. All 8 of us are now. None of us could play because you beat me. And I'm like, eat a dick. Eat a mountain of dicks. Eat a goddamn fucking mountain of them. He's a good guy, but man, not playing games.
You're a good guy, but
you totally threw me with that.
We got 2 or 3 guys on the panel that could tell you horror stories and PTSD moments that happened at his table. Okay,
this is the reason that he won't allow me to play diplomacy anymore, because I kept going for nukes right off, and I would blow him up.
See,
why? Because it was fun.
He was the one who ruined my ability to play BattleTech for a number of years and Starfleet battles. So
there was 2 names I put in private chat. I was wondering if those were the people you're talking about, but I guess not.
No. I can't look at private chat, so I look at it after.
Okay. But here's the thing, and I'm not going to play devil's advocate with you, Kai, because because I agree with what you're saying, and I don't really have much of a devil's advocate. But even when you're a player at somebody's table, and the DM's running a great game, I have no problem with the DM. But there's you're doing a feat. You're doing the ability that feat has. And a rule lawyer at the end of the table is like, I don't think that works that way. Well, if it's rules as written, it does work that way. I think you need to roll percentage dice to see what end of the weapon hits the target.
Ooh, you see, I'm willing to work with that to a degree, but there's a certain point where I'm going, I may be a storytelling person, and I may like to go with rule of cool every once in a while, but there's that point where the moment someone, I am a rule of cool GM where that's cool, we can put this out, but the moment someone goes, the rules say this, and at that point I'm like, are you sure you want to start this fight? And then, yes, and I'm like, all right, let's go find out. And at that point, the fun immediately evaporates. All the coolness factor, all the high adventure hijinks evaporate down to, well, if we're gonna play rules lawyering bullshit, let's play rules lawyering bullshit. And I guarantee you, as a person who plays Starfleet Battles with all the optional rules, you're fucking screwed here, dude. But, and I'm like, D&D is fucking Play-Doh Lego gaming right here, dude. And you want to quote rules with me? All right, let's pull the fucking rule book out, and I'll start quoting shit. And they're like, well, this is what's going to happen. Like, this is what I'm going to do. No, actually, you're crossing at this point here. This is causing that one. So therefore, I need you to make me several checks now to because why are you making it so hard on me? Because you asked for the rules as written, motherfucker. And the moment.
Okay, hold on. Crafty is over in my chat, and he goes, I dated a girl once that told me, in quotation marks, I like dicks. Dicks are delicious.
You know what? They are, but some people don't.
Wait, you know?
No. But hey.
But you just said they are.
Yeah, whatever. Moving on.
Where'd you find this out at camp?
I mean, if you actually mastered the ability to know yourself that well, I think I could live with that. But, that's anyway, about as far as I'm willing to go, man.
Anyway, still.
$20 is $20.
$20, man. But no, it really does come down to the rules lawyers can ruin your game, and then you either let them ruin your game or you fight back and you beat them up as bad as they are. It's like, if they want to play this game, guess what? You play the game. And
am I going to have to break out my Dungeon Master's Guide and go back to the afterword again?
No, because the thing is that I don't want to play rules as written, because you know what?
That's what the rule I'm talking about is the rule at the end of the Dungeon Master's Guide where it says the DM makes up all the rules.
I know, but when somebody this is the problem when you game with war gamers. When you have a gaming group who's 3/4 miniature war gamers, where rules are not something that you can just ignore. They are, but you can't. Because when you got a bunch of people who are like, whose entire hobby is, I'm pushing $2,000 to $3,000 worth of crap around the table, and then have them go, and where every rule is written, and we have. So I would like to not play that way, but when that one guy goes, sir, the rules say, and I'm like, let's quote regulations now. And once the regs come out, that's the point when you're just like, all right, let's see who fucking wins this game. And I guarantee it's not you. And by the end of it, and it's like, and I will pause shit and go, everybody else, go get a fucking lunch. Like, go get dinner. Go eat. Go drink. Go do something. Because I'm going to find out if he's right or not. And we're going to make sure it's perfect. And then read him the goddamn riot act and go, now, where do you think I did this wrong? And then fucking spell it out like, but shouldn't you wait to the end of the table? Nope. This fucker here is ruining your fun. He is buddy fucking you all because he wants to be a rules lawyer. Let's celebrate his retardation by humiliating him openly. and let this game be. And everyone goes, and when everybody goes home and the few like hardcore players are like, should we stick around? Like, are we just going to erase this last session from the rule from the site? Oh yeah. This never actually happened. If he comes back next week, cool. But if not, this never happened. This entire thing this was just an entire dream of you guys getting to listen to me browbeat another motherfucker into the ground. Like, did you find enjoyment tonight? No, I found absolutely no enjoyment in this whatsoever. But why are you such an asshole? Because everyone else is assholes, and I fight fire with fire. Or I will throw a book at someone and go, read it.
Okay.
Wow. But yes, I've had games. I have not let a campaign die due to bad players. I have had sessions die due to bad players. I've even had bad players who were so bad I just got up and left to go buy more rule books to come back and throw them at the player. I've done that one. I have gone to the local gaming store, bought like five more core rule books just to walk into the room and throw them at somebody. And they're like, why did you do that for? Why did you spend $200? Because I hate you.
It was like the last few days, the last little bit of 3.5, and they finally pumped out the Rule Companion for 3.5. And the DM I was dealing with at the time threw one of those books at me. So, well, you need to learn rules. As you know, I'm thumbing through the rule book, just like, okay, whatever. I'm like, hey, you've been doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, this wrong, and wait, this down to here. You know, I did everything but freaking highlight the rules for them.
And if somebody was to do that for me and actually correct me, I'd be okay. But if they're if they're making everybody else miserable because they want to quote bullshit, yeah, no. God, no. So, yes, I have been the problem player, and I'll admit that, because I will be flippant with the I don't want to follow the rules, but I'll follow them within the letter of the rule until someone decides to go, but actually, and I'm like, okay, fine, actually, but the weapon's free. Let's do this now. I will follow every rule now, and I will be a mechanical. I will have no personality. I will just play the game. You will get somebody who will be at the table and whose entire job is it my initiative? Here's my optimal movement path around the entire combat zone. I have already calculated out what I'm going to do on my turn. Here are my dice rolls. Here are my damage totals, because I have been listening to the combat. This is what's going on here. But my turn is over. It's been 15 seconds. I've had absolutely no fun, but I've contributed to the party's defeat of the situation. The villain is now at some point lower hit points. Party, this is what you need to do to be able to act. Like, I will use my talking action to now direct the party to maneuver around to get a more optimal solution to beating this situation. Now, excuse me, I have miniatures that need to be painted. And the GM, are you going to do anything useful? No. I've already done my combat, and that's all that really matters, right? Okay, we'll get back to you in 40 minutes. Whatever. And then 40 minutes later, Blaine, it's your turn. What are you doing? I have already calculated my optimal move around the parties, everything else. I don't need to listen to. I don't need to ask any questions that everybody else has been bullshitting for the last 40 minutes. Here's my moves. Here's my combat. Here's my damage. Here's my AC, so you can hit me on your turn. All right, back my miniatures.
Well, my question
You're being an asshole. They're like, you're being an asshole. No, I'm playing a miniature war game, which is what you guys are all wanting to do. Anyway.
You know, the topic was, you know, what you do when you lose faith with your DM. Is there any way to reestablish, to rebuild that bridge that has, you know, slightly been charred on the timbers, or do you just let the entire fucking bridge burn and move on to the next table?
honestly, it's a two-way street. I mean, it can't just be the GM who just acquiesces and then bows down and goes, "I'm sorry, players. Please forgive me. Come back to my table." And it can't be the players who go, "GM, we're so sorry. Can we please come back to your table and play?" No, it needs to be like the GM needs to realize he fucked up. That's it. The players need to realize they fucked up, and it all needs to come back to, okay, it's good, doggy. But it really does need to come down to players have to actually want to work. The GM has to put the effort in to actually hook the players back in. Like, where did he fuck up? And that requires to do this one thing that most of us don't have. That's humility. And as to talk to people afterwards and go, "Hey, what could I do better?" And surprisingly have somebody respond. Let's assume that you haven't burnt all your bridges down. But half of us are people who are just like, "Fuck it, I don't need anybody. I'm a completely selfish individual. I don't need friends. Fuck this game. Game is nothing. Friends aren't important. Game important. Fuck this. I don't need you people. I got alcohol."
I have to say that was a fairly indecent impression of myself. I didn't know you know me that well, Kai.
I'm learning, aren't I?
In fact, I think I've seen you give that speech several times.
I am not.
And the thing here is that a lot of us are too prideful. We're like, "No, I didn't do anything wrong. Why should I apologize? I am superior." Just admit it. Just admit that you're wrong, and move forward. But no, we all just want to beat ourselves up. That's where we all come down to. And yeah, so I've had players who've gone, "Hey GM, we know you fucked up. We know you're angry, but we're not holding it as a grudge. You want to come back to the table now?" And even the guy I threw the books at was like, "Oh shit, he just threw books at me." Yeah, I did. And it's like, so I've had players I've gone, you know where we should go? We should go to next. Where's that? Denny's. And we're going to continue gaming Denny's. I'm hungry and I don't want Little Caesars. Let's go out and get some food. And guess what?
Ooh, Denny's.
Yeah, I know. Food poisoning on a plate.
Diabetes.
Diabetes. Last boss of the internet.
Diabetes.
Hey, the only way you get diabetes is go see a doctor. I know people I know people that didn't have diabetes until they went to the doctor and they came out with diabetes. So I'm thinking it's the doctors who give you the diabetes.
Right.
I kind of almost agree with you there, as silly as it sounds.
But the important part there is midnight food run to whatever Grubhub is currently open at 10 o'clock at night to go.
What's that?
What's
no,
that?
No. At 1 o'clock between 11 p.m. and 11 a.m. Whataburger serves breakfast.
Perkins.
So you go get yourself a burger or a biscuit with buns.
Yep.
And or breakfast on a bun.
Yep.
It's a Bob.
It's like I can't tell you how many campaigns I've actually rescued over a 7x7 at Steak and Shake.
Oh, 7x7. God, jeez.
2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. One of my friends is sitting there, going, "Dude, do you need to stop drinking?" And I'm like, I needed to stop drinking about 3 hours ago, but problem solved. And now everyone's sitting on the table going, "Okay, we need to solve this problem before next week happens." What happens next week? We're all going to show up thinking there's a game and Blaze going to stab us all. Yeah, I will. Because half of them were like, "But we live in the same building as you. We kind of have to see you. I will stab you if I see you." And yeah, so it really is just everyone just has to realize fuck ups happen, and go hammer it out. Go be adults. And yeah.
I agree with. I completely agree with you on that one. I was about to say, does anybody else have anything to say? But I mean, I think you covered every angle of that question. The only thing I'm having issues with is Jadis has his icon up, and if you look really close at it, it has two boring eyes. That it just looks like it's giving you judgment the entire time you look at it. Or is that just me? Am I the only person in the game that judges? Yeah, that's it. That's it. It's like being back at church and you know the priest knows you fucked up. It's like, fuck.
Sorry, I don't know how to not beat a horse into glue, so...
It's all right. It's all right. It's like, just...
That's why I was... That's why I was being quiet to the very end, because I was like, let everybody else talk. Let everybody else talk.
So there was a period that we were playing a module series, and we got to the 6th portion of it. They played through the first 5 books, mostly no problem. Book 6, this part is a hex crawl underground, and you don't know which way is north because nobody here's a ranger. And the party started playing it, and by the end of the first night in book 6, which was a hex crawl underground, they had quit. We were playing this. Capron, after I get done reading everything, Capron asked, it's like, Bruce, what the fuck are we doing? Yeah, it was Second Darkness, the worst Pathfinder adventure path I've ever read. And because the 3rd portion of it was pretty strong, the 4th portion of it was pretty good, the 6th portion very weak, and part 5 was really weak too. But you have all these moving parts, and the players have to start like figuring things out very fast, and they just rage quit. We're 16th level, we beat the game, we're done.
Bummer.
No, Baron, I did not lose. You guys kept me as DM, and we started playing Kingmaker after that.
Which was a much better game. Granted, I wasn't there for Second Darkness, but Kingmaker is a great game as long as you have somebody who's willing to do the paperwork. Hey, Kai, how do you feel about doing some paperwork for us?
Perfect.
Yeah, I wasn't upset about it because the end game for Second Darkness is really statistically difficult. Like there's a mini game in there where Kai gets in with his abacus and he starts rolling die and trying to play with the characters, trying to optimize them, and he just gives up and they're like, we can't win. We're dead. So yeah, Kingmaker is a superior AP for that adventure path. That was something the players voted on. They had an idea that Kingmaker would be better for them, and they really enjoyed it.
Second Darkness. Yes. I don't know that one.
It's part 3 of the Paizo.
You weren't in that one.
No, I know most of the modules. I mean, that's not true. I don't know all the modules, but
it's the most
maligned. It was a railroad. Literally, you go into this node, do a thing. You go into this next node, you do the exact same thing you just did with the exact same monsters and everything else.
Yeah, it was very uninventive.
Is that the Drow game?
It was a Drow adventure.
Which it was great up until we hit that last book. That last book is just like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Okay, this is not the one I thought it was, because it was on Kickstarter for a while. It was something Drow related for Pathfinder. And I thought
this is the game that I joined Bruce's games and met Bruce through. And then that's also the game that while I was visiting family in St. Louis, one of the players decided they were just going to stab my character to death while he slept. So, because I wasn't there to defend.
I know who you're talking about, and he is a dick.
Yeah, well,
I can't remember who that is. Is that Capron?
Yes. And he can go fucking jump off of a bridge with Dan.
Yeah. Well, he fucked off a bridge. He went to Madison, Wisconsin, which I consider that a win. Go throw your natural 20s at their table. He's one of those players that he can't be honest with his die rolls. He's never going to be honest with his die rolls. You could watch him roll a 7. I rolled 17. Okay. No, it's not okay. All right. Whenever I'm giving just a dissertation on these old tables and what we did to solve it, the players were really unhappy with the Second Darkness AP, that it started getting very railroady, and they smelled it a mile away. They're like, let's quit. Let's just quit. We'll just save you one. We quit. And then they did. That was it. Like, the players, you couldn't convince them. There was 8 of them at the table, and that was entirely what they all chose. We're done. No, we're done with this module series. It sucks. Play something fun, Bruce. Okay. And so we went to Kingmaker because Kingmaker offered them unlimited hex crawling. Have fun, kids.
Live in space.
I I'm really, after playing at the several games I have with you, Bruce, and most of them being hex crawls, I really starting to believe hex crawl campaigns are definitely the way to go. I'm a believer.
Depends on the group.
Well, yeah, that's probably true too. But fuck.
For me, I work with them pretty well. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I can't. I mean, I've had games that fell apart only because I was a new DM and I was overstretching. I was making, giving people more abilities and powers than I should have, just because I was having fun being the DM. It was more or less, I can make this work. I can make this work. I can't make this work. I jumped the shark and there's no coming back from it. And, but that's just, as a new DM, you're going to make those mistakes.
Oh, yeah. And that's the thing is when you're a new DM like that, you're going to make those mistakes. Like, like the first couple times I DM'd, it was like, I looked at a player and I go, well, you know what happened. And they just kind of looked at me blankly and I'm like, oh, crap. I actually have to explain everything out because they don't know. Even though they've played the game for years, this character doesn't know. The player knows, but the character doesn't. And, once I got that concept in my head, I was fine. But, that initial concept, it was a little rough. But, yeah.
Like if we ever play a game at my table and say Kai is in it, I'm going to have to give Kai a lot of alcohol so he can enjoy himself, because the first levels, you're an 18-year-old to 20-year-old kid, and you've heard of throwing fire on trolls before, but you've never done it. You're not playing a character that's played RPGs for 40 years and played PS1 games, and I need you to role play like you're an 18-year-old kid, and if we're playing that, and Kai's supposed to be part of that, maybe as a DM, I shouldn't put Kai in the role of an 18-year-old fighter. Maybe I should make Kai a 40-year-old wizard who's like, I've always read this stuff, but I never have put it in practice. And then I can describe things to him like, this smells like regret. Whenever the black smoke rolls off the troll, and the troll is there, and it shits itself right in front of you as most of its arm catches fire, and it flails bits of burning pitch all over the place, you are given a huge whiff of black smoke. Roll a 12 fortitude save. And the wizard is in danger because a 12 fortitude save could be like, I could fail this. What's going to happen if I fail? I gotta, if I ever have that happen, I have to have Kai play like an older person, because he's going to be pissed at me for making him role play a 12 to 18-year-old kid that's not really played with his penis before. He wants to role play like a seasoned character. he wants to play like somebody who's been around, even though you're playing a first or second or fifth level character. That you just have to massage people certain ways. And I hope I'm not insulting Kai. I hope I'm actually kind of painting a position to where if he ever does come to game with us, he knows he will have a better road than most have had.
I just want to add that he had penis, rub, and position all in the same statement. I'm just throwing that out there.
The strippers guild will take good care of him. I don't know what your concerns are.
Wait. Well, it's funny you bring that up because I believe Kai is started on the lore of the Strippers Guild.
I think that's going to be his first product out of the Kai press.
St. Kai Stripper Guild, where we solve your problems for you.
You don't want my stripper guild. Trust me on this. You don't want this. You really want this place.
Would it make Max happy full of furries?
Was that?
I have to agree with Connell there. I don't want any part of it.
Will it make Max happy and it be full of furries?
No. The more I restrict this, the more
it'll probably have a bunch of misery.
That costs extra.
Yeah, Katsunis aren't cheap.
And like the movie 7, you've got to bring your equipment with you.
Yeah, you're right. Consider
And Max is sitting and lurking. Hi, Max.
I did not start that.
No, but trust
we
me.
had no idea.
The more I go in, the more I've been working on the Super Guild, the more I realize this is not a module for players. This is a module for, oh fuck, this is evil. Why is anyone like you can't actually beat this? This is a Hydra that will just devour you. Because why? Because ultimately you are engaging in so many bad things, and I hope you like dealing with the fantasy version of the. No, you're not making it. But I caught this one person. They committed suicide. I'm sorry. You have no evidence.
Speaking of strippers guild and places of that ilk, when I'm playing a module called Wrath of the Righteous, and my player ends up not by choice but by design in a brothel, it makes for a very interesting night, especially when your DM is not the most comfortable even with that aspect.
But the thing here is that your pious person is part of this mass. Like, you just went to a local brothel. No one's really like. Are you going to investigate who paid for the bouncers? Who's paying for the strippers? Who recruited the strippers? Who's the manager? Who's supplying the alcohol? Who are they buying off when it comes to the local constabulary? Who part of the local nobility are actually in their pockets?
I think I have the answer to all those questions, and the last name is Maxwell.
And the thing is that you're like, okay, I burned down this one brothel, and I'm like, now you're looking at an entire network of individuals who are scattered everywhere, and now survivors of the brothel burning are now going to pass word along, and you go to the next town, and well, you're just going to end up dead. From what? An accident. What kind of accident? You fell forward on a treadmill, and you broke your throat 4 times.
That wasn't a treadmill. That was a mentor.
There's a geisha.
Like
there's a geisha. There's a geisha over in the corner going, "Come on, Toshi, come on."
Right. It's like, as somebody who's played way too much Shogun and Shogun Total War 2, the idea of that geisha in the corner, like, I can't stop you. You're a walking war machine of murder and assassination that will kill everybody eventually on a long enough timeline. And you're like, yes. And it's like, oh. And the thing is, you go to town and, I only burnt down a brothel. And now you're being And now you're being pursued by 4.5 different law enforcement divisions who are all going, no, you have no money, you have no friends, you have no allies. People don't want to talk to you anymore. Why? But I was being a lawful, good, noble, righteous person, and God's on my side. One God's on your side, the rest are not.
See, I don't want to go to that one. I want to go to the one that looks like it came out of the Italian Renaissance, because there won't be any burning. There might be a little itching, but there won't be any burning.
Now,
I finally give you a game where your character can go to a goddamned brothel, and then you complain about it?
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do anything. I was.
It happens to all of us, Connell. It happens to all of us.
No. You have to understand. My character was
sometimes you just can't perform. You know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Longer than 4
I mean,
hours.
they were only succubi.
Okay. Wait, hold on. All right.
Very well done, Jade. Very well done.
And thing is, that was actually built into the module set. Like, I didn't come up with that for you specifically. That was already there.
But my character was technically promised to somebody else, and I was trying to keep my word, unlike the walking kin doll that we had in our unit.
Just because the Paladin of Iomedae swore an oath to Iomedae does not mean he swore a oath of celibacy.
So you're not arguing the kin doll comment.
Now, the important thing to remember here is that succubi are premium items. You don't mess with those, and don't ask how we have them on staff.
Somebody's dog is not happy.
That would be mine again. I need a new dog.
No, you need a happy dog.
He's a good dog. He's doing his job. He's protecting me from random cars driving by.
Complained about finally getting something you wanted in a game, and I didn't even have to come up with it on my own.
Now, if you wait about 2 or 3 more weeks, I might have a preliminary of why you're about to get fucked by the Bene Gesserits. So,
No, let's keep doing out of this.
No. Because in my notes, it goes from strippers to Bene Gesserits. So you're going to deal with them. And because this is how wide the conspiracy that's going to overthrow creation is going to be. And all because you was stripper guilds.
Well,
I don't want his, okay.
I don't know what ice cream has to do with this, but still.
I don't want his stripper guilds. His stripper guilds is not macadamia. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Macadamia in nature. Oh no, the pecans are after me. The pistachio guild.
His is more Machiavelli. I'm looking for less Machiavelli and more
Lovecraft.
Not that.
Someone has to be able to recruit your talents, make sure they're available to you, transport them, guard them, defend them. You're not just going to go to the strip club just to watch. You're going to want some alcohol, right? And some food to go along with it. That will be contacts and assets with various merchant guilds that you're going to have to deal with. Those will need guarding. And if you have a few roughhousers, you're going to need some trained muscle, or the police that are going to have to be there with to help guard over everything. Nothing is so simple as strippers are available, right? I go watch some pretty boobies bounce around. No, nothing's like that. And sure, you can be an independent. Yeah, one bad drunken brawl between the Army or Navy in your club and you're ruined. Join the guild. We'll back you up. We'll provide you funding, insurance, defense, enough things that will keep the military from being fuck-ups. They'll keep the police at bay. What are you afraid of? What are you going to lose by joining the guild?
Your soul?
That's always I could buy my soul back. And you don't know what dark god or gods are working. I have a paladin lawful good god. I have the power of at least 4 gods of darkness who are backing up my guild. How far are you willing to fight this conspiracy. Well, I go to the king. The king is on the books. He doesn't realize it yet, but he's on the books, and so's the Chamberlain. I supply the best concubines and escorts and courtesans for all the higher nobility. Several of the major of the constabulary are in my pocketbook. What hope do you have, Mr. Paladin? I'll fight you with good and bring it. Bring it. You're up against society and civilization. Are you going to bring it all down? If I must, then I hope your God's strong enough, and I hope your body's good enough. Or you could just drink the goddamn alcohol and relax for 5 hours. That's it.
We call that Kool-Aid.
You know what? All you gotta do is just relax, look the other way, and not contemplate the fact that there's a secret evil cabal who is burning down civilization behind you and around you. But just relax.
Yeah, I can't do that, man.
And this is the point. This is where the good guys come in. And I want good guys, but I want them, and I want a threat that goes from level 1 to level 20. It all revolves around strippers.
And what you need is a Batman, not a Paladin.
Hey, I don't care. I don't care who fights the good fight. If it's a Paladin in a Batman suit, more power to him. If it's a bunch of players who decide that Vice might not be the right thing, more power to them. Because we already have too many organizations that are built around violence, pestilence, disease, plague. Now I'm going. But we all forget that lust is just as bad on the curve. We might as well give an entire module based on the powers of why Slanesh can't win, but will.
So how much of that bottle is there left, Mike? Because I still plan on coming over.
Not enough.
With this topic, not enough. We actually had a discussion when we went down to that game store on Saturday about this in the car. The wives were both just kind of looking at us like, okay, whatever, we're just going to let them go. And yeah, it was, but I will say it was an amazing time. We did have fun.
Yes.
So yeah. Got a bunch of free stuff.
I did actually the next 3 streams I was on up until Saturday. I did try to promote as much as I could free RPG day to whatever streams I was on.
He kept pissing me off every time. Some of us live in the fucking shit. Live in the fucking shit where there are no game stores, and if there are any game stores, the last thing they're going to do is give anything away for free.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't know what they get out of it besides people coming in to buy things. Is we drove 45 minutes to this game store. I've got a game store that's 2 blocks away.
Bastard.
And I could literally just walk to that one. Huh? Well,
the nearest game store is 100 miles.
Just rub it into Shadow and Sun because he loves it when somebody applies the cream directly to the wound.
The closest one to me is 5 blocks away.
Right. Yeah, we've got 3 game stores within a half hour to 45-minute drive away. Like, 2 blocks for me, 5 blocks for G. But we decided to drive to this brand new shop. It had just opened relatively recently, to support their business and whatnot. So, the free RPG day, it brings people in and hopefully they buy more or they get more stuff from the store rather than just all the free stuff. Now, while we were there, I think we saw 4 or 5 patrons come in, and I think 3 of them made a purchase. I don't know if the 4th one ever made a purchase or not.
I was really eyeballing that Cyberpunk that I saw on the table.
Oh yeah. There might be a way to get some of those free things. Now that RPG Day has come and passed, I'm not sure.
They're all on eBay. Half the stock of every store in California, I guarantee, just put them on eBay.
Okay.
I think the closest game shop. Honestly, I think the closest game shop to me is in Bartonville. because people could say the Zone, but the Zone is a game shop, but they're a Magic the Gathering shop more than they are anything else. So, anyways, no, I promoted the hell out. I tried to promote the hell out of the free RPG game because that is such a great concept for people just to go to your local game shop if you have the local game shop. And
it absolutely is.
Well, I gotta ask, Kai.
Yeah.
When you run a game and you do a new campaign every so often because you just have a new semester start, what is the big takeaway that GMs could learn from your experience? Because you do things you do like a scheduled fresh start almost every 6 months.
Every 12.
Okay.
The campaigns run for about 2 semesters, which is 1 school year. If we're lucky, I'll have enough students to carry over into a second year. But 2 years is about the point when enough people graduate that we can't continue with that group. But there's always a few lingering people who are around from a previous year, so they know the world a little bit. And this is the fun part about having a continually refreshing pool, is that students have a tendency to talk to each other when they're excited about a game when you're not there. They'll talk to each other, and they'll convince the freshmen to come and go, you got to play this thing. And I'm like, why? I overheard some of the juniors and seniors talking about this, and this is a pretty good game. And then they'll show up and they go, oh, and by the way, let me tell you this very, very bad version of whatever world that you just heard. And they'll come in with this like, I heard about this, and then my cohort in crime is sitting here going, that's not quite right. But he's like, but I'm not going to correct it. Let them come in with a bad point of view, because after all, look at this thing that that most of us, when we look at the news, we don't know what's going on. How many of us actually say we read the news every single day? How many of us actually know what's going on in the world at all times? Most of us, if we're lucky, we get the 10-minute NPR download every once a day on our morning drive to work if we're not listening to music. If we're lucky, we might get the Axios 10-minute blurb or you're going to get the Bloomberg report or the Wall Street Journal. Like, you're going to get a very twisted, small view of the world.
Yeah, I don't consider any of them actual news, but okay.
But the thing is that this is what podcasting is, what you get for news. Most people come in with bad ideas. Most of us don't read a lot of things, so they come in with you come in and say your bad take on the world, and I'm sitting here going, where did you hear that one? And they're like, yeah. And suddenly the kids come in and like, this is what I want to do. Is this my interesting thing? I'm like, I will put the world map. I will look at my cohort and I go, put the map on the screen. And like Situation Room, the big mural will appear on the screen, and I will walk over to the board with a stick and go, where in the world do you want to start this wonderful adventure that you are going to partake in? And like some like horrifying general just pointing a stick at the world going, well, what are the cultures? This and this and this and this. And they're like, oh, okay. And by now I've had several years of restarts and new campaigns and going, guys, you're on a time limit. You can waste as much time as you want, but realize in approximately 8 months, this story ends. And if you're lucky, you'll get another 8-month extension. And if you can convince the rest of the new guys to continue playing, you might get a grand total of 24 months of play. Make the most of your memories, kids. And realize the world's going to march on without you. And they do. They have fun. They waste time, or they create weird things. A few of them are like, I'm not going to be around forever, so I'm going to leave an impact in the world. Like creating a door company. Yes, they got tired. They realized as players they break down doors so much that they want to go in afterwards and sell new doors to the people who they broke it into. And
that's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Right? You go break down somebody's house, you ruin all their doors, and then you show up, 2 weeks later and go, not you, but one of your assistants and one of your minions shows up and goes, "Hi, I'm from Ravenwood Doors. I heard that you had a recent string of adventurers that came through and ruined your doors. These doors, I can guarantee you, are much better locks, much better wood quality, harder to knock down if you bar them properly. And we also offer magical enchantment camp packages, so that way you can ensure that your doors will be less likely to get pickpocketed by your fellow, by future adventurers." And I'm sitting here going, "Wait, you create a problem and then you're selling the solution to your problem? Like, isn't it smart?" Like, I can't argue. I can't argue with your business plan. Congratulations.
I mean,
you are a soulless businessman. You are ready for the world, kid. Go out there and make someone's life miserable.
By chance, is this like Uncle the person who runs the My Pillow company? Because I'm a bitch.
By the way, Connell, I was going through the books that I got from.
What's that? Yeah, ooh, I haven't them. Ooh.
Wait. It gets better because they also had this too.
What? Bullshit. You don't need that book.
I'll show you.
This is actually cool too because this has got a whole bunch of different engines in it that are freaking amazing.
That was like fun.
I may wind up sending this to you, Bruce, so you can reskin it.
If you ever want flowers.
Yeah, it's all plant monsters.
Oh fuck!
Nice.
Now this is the one that shocked me that was there.
Dungeon Crawler Classic.
DCC.
Yep. DCC.
Oh wow.
Also, Modifius threw in too.
Yep. Starfinder. Well.
Yes, I want my copy of that to arrive one day. Someday I will have the whole box set of that.
And then there was this one also, which just looked too cute.
Oh, that's cute. Actually, I've been looking at that one mainly because of my kids. Which one is that one, Bruce? Jade?
This is the 3 Wizard Conundrum.
Because 1 wizard's never enough.
And then there was also this. The only, and yes, it's 5e, but the only one reason why I picked it up comes with a full battle map.
Oh, that's
along with reversible tokens that you can cut out.
I like my tokens to be 3D, but that map is definitely gorgeous. Gorgeous. The map. Gorgeous.
Yeah, the map is actually really, really nice.
Oh wow!
This is. Yeah, it's basically a crypt graveyard, and then you have the inside the crypt.
Oh yeah, shit like that. So reusable.
Oh yeah, you can use it for anything. And the thing is that a lot of the stuff they had there was 5e, but the nice thing is that you can reskin it for whatever you're using.
Well, they probably were given that role for sanity. I'll just address this real quick. They probably all printed this stuff off 4 months ago and shipped it through Alliance a month and a half ago, and that way everybody was kind of on the same page, and you knew what would get traffic, and hopefully those companies will get something back on that investment.
Yeah, I mean, for DCC to have stuff in there, I was very very interested in that. I mean, and this is another one that was really cool too.
Epic Encounters.
Yeah, the Epic Encounters.
Well,
I was just showing that.
Dragon Cult. Jade already showed this, but since it's not you didn't have it full screen, I'll show mine.
I'll have to. At some point, I have to see if I can find it.
Although
Yep,
Bruce,
how to raise
I've got 2 of these. I may send you one because it has actually how to. It's one of the Army Painter paint guides for like undead and stuff. But it has some really interesting, how to go through, step by step how to do all the shading and all that. And then Starfinder, little skitterwort.
Hey, Tim Christ, how you doing, sir?
Itty bitty guys.
Look, even if it's Pathfinder.
I want the plan book, even if it's Pathfinder.
Yeah.
And then I actually picked up a couple things at the store itself.
Ooh, what? Ooh,
Whitechapel. Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, it is.
Jack
It is.
freaking Ripper.
It is. Yep. And you are Jack the Ripper. One person plays Jack the Ripper. The other people are trying to find you.
I don't know if I want to play that game with Jay. He's already, called me out for being Hitler once.
And then I had to get something cute for the couple of cute things.
The sad thing about that statement is I'm not joking.
Hey, Kai.
Yes. I see it. I see it.
It's up to a 10-person game.
Oh, fun.
Inconceivable.
Your camera.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to. Well, actually, I don't know which screen it's on. So, but basically, it is literally like the Battle of Wits they played with the poison. So, yeah.
Nice.
We do not get in a land war in Asia.
There we go.
I just recently tortured my daughter with that movie a little bit ago.
It's not torture.
Movie is a
But yeah, they actually had a whole bunch
13
of
or
really
14
cool
quick start guides inside this little book here.
Yeah,
Like 13 or
different
14
systems,
Hmm.
all different systems, which is really cool.
I'll turn on the fan there, Matt.
Yeah, unfortunately, nobody was willing to sit down and run any of that content. I mean, I even brought Index Card RPG so we could gen up characters, and we could run not system specific characters if people wanted, but nobody wanted to sit down and play the games. Fortunately.
Yeah. And yes, Shauner, I see that GURPS is making a Pathfinder board game based on the Curse of the Crimson Throne Revolution is the board game they're doing the game for. The theme is Curse of the Crimson Throne, which is regicide at its finest, where you get to become a super high level player.
Maybe that'd be the next module I'll run.
Connell, run whatever you want, dude. Run.
Oh. Yeah, I know. I do. I mean, I plan to, but at some point, the Rise of the Rune Lord is going to be coming to an end, and if they wish to stay with Pathfinder, I'm going to have to find another module to run.
I recommend.
Here's a novel idea. Here's a novel idea.
Skull and check.
Make something up.
I can't.
Why?
The shop prefers modules.
Okay.
That's good.
Because they can make money off of it's their business. I just work there.
Fair enough.
Skull
Yeah,
and shackles.
I do.
Skull and shackles.
Then pirates. Yeah, actually, I've never ran that one, Skull and Shackles. I think I have some of the miniatures for it, but I've actually never ran it.
The in that three wizard conundrum, there is a wild magic effect chart that is not specific to anything.
Yeah, it's
Like,
it's system agnostic.
Connell,
Yeah,
what
it's-
I would recommend I'll put it in chat. That way Garrett can talk.
Yeah, the one of them, my favorite one is 23 to 24. It's the D100 roll. A torn of 50, one or a D100. Harmless frogs rain down on you, and one giant toad appears in an unoccupied space within 5 feet of you instead. Each round on its turn, the toad attacks the creature nearest to it. So it's neither friend nor foe. It will. It's going right back to what the hell was that old ass module that everyone played? Elemental Evil. Simple Elemental Evil with the frogs when you first start.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about Into the Borderlands, but never mind.
Dude, I haven't played that.
Tim, that would be actually really fun to write my own module and sell it there. I mean, that would be fun. That involves. If you watch the Sunday chats with me and Shadow and Son, not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday, where me and the boy will be talking about our homemade roads that we're building, and I've been working on mine the last couple days, and
I'm gonna actually have one as well. It's gonna be a Gamma World from Gamma World, which is just Earth, but I'll still be doing that.
There's a very true statement. You write what you know, and I was talking to Jade about it, and the way I'm going with it is very much just in my wheelhouse of shit that I know. And do I ever think it's going to be the best seller? No, but it will be fun. At least I'm having fun building it.
Well, the GM is supposed to have fun too. And like I always say, that's, for me at least, the fun part of GMing is, showing off my creation, not, running somebody else's. I've done that. But, after a while that, you're just, for me, you're just doing somebody else's work,
Right. I've been joking around. Well, they've been joking around about maybe running Iron Kingdoms next, or having me run Iron Kingdom next. And I'm like, sure, if I don't do the damn paperwork. They're like, what do you mean by that? I'm like,
I'm not familiar with that game.
It's all right. And Bruce, you do have an interesting standpoint. Pathfinder 2nd Edition just not selling. They can't push the stuff.
And I'll tell you that there's a lot of work you've got to do as a DM. But if you were to download, they've got free apps on the web for your tablet or your phone. And if you want to run it, you should be able to run it with those apps. But you need apps to help you. Because what happens is that the game does have a lot of status effects that affect everybody. Like if there's smoke in the room or some such like that. And it's kind of front loaded to where you need to have a PC with you when you run the game. That way you can run it. But if you can get good with it, that's great. 5e is almost the same way, but 5e is dumbed down a couple steps.
Oh yeah, I run.
I don't mean to sound like I'm putting 5e down. The core system of 5e is fantastic. Go ahead, use it. And make it as hardcore, difficult, slaughter the players as much as you want, because you're running a game store. This shouldn't be like an intimate experience for them. You are trying to get them to buy the books to take home and run for their friends and their players and their family and such.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can share this. What we do is if you come to the table with any piezo items, it being a folder, a book, but you have to have at least one piezo item. You get a bonus to one roll throughout the game. It doesn't matter what, but to one roll. So if you're rolling to hit and you need that bonus, you can use that bonus on that. It's a one-time only. It's a shop thing that they do. And I called a few other shops I know about to have in-shop DMs. I'm like, is this a thing or is it my shop thing? So like, no, it's a piezo thing. I'm like, that's interesting.
I've never heard of that before, but okay. I got to ask you, are they running first edition or second edition Pathfinder?
First edition, because that's what everybody enjoys.
Are you serious?
Yep.
How big is the how big is the 5e crowd there?
About they share the same opinion as most of the people we hang out with do.
Okay.
I have like 2 people out of 10 that would like to run a 5e campaign, but they're outvoted every bloody time, and I'm like, I'll run one, whatever system you guys want. If I know how to run it, I'll run it, and I can run 5e. It's not that hard. Running it well.
Kai does the same. Kai has the same issue there.
Yeah.
He can run 5e. He'd rather run anything else.
I don't mind Pathfinder. I mean, it is what it is. I like the crunch from Pathfinder First Edition. I'm getting, so.
Yeah.
But no, on my Monday nights, I do run a 5e campaign over the interwebs, and that one is just me and a group of friends I've made in Tennessee.
Okay.
So,
does anybody else have any thing they want to share as far as like, as their games have gone wrong? I'm not trying to go back to the main topic, but I want to know if there's anything we need to go back to, if anybody needs to wrap up a hanging.
Well, we didn't. I don't think we really talked about the male versus female issue that at least I've encountered numerous times. I know Dolly Pop talked a lot about stuff like that. The inappropriate behavior and that sort of thing. You guys ever had those issues? Because, like I said, I have numerous occasions between players and each other, and players toward me as the DM. Sorry, I'm not interested. We're here to game. That sort of thing. My girlfriend's sitting right here, kind of thing. Just me, huh?
I have had the issue come up once, and when I said, "Hey, that's not acceptable here," the guy got all sorts of bent out of shape and pissed off, and decided to walk away. And I'm like, "All right, well, you go through that door, you don't come back. You're not allowed back. You
Yep.
Either put up with the rules at the table, and be appropriate and respectful to one another, or you walk out that door and never come back to this table."
And leave your character sheet behind.
Nope. Because if he'd left his character sheet behind, I would have shredded it. Because he was that much of an ass.
Oh, no. See, there are so many better things you can do with a character sheet than just burn them. You could use them as a living example.
Well, the character wasn't the problem. It was the player. The player was the problem. And I
have done some horrific things to ex-players who, for whatever reason, various reasons, have, decided to destroy a campaign, a game, or a session. And trust me, in game, it stands as a living example of why you don't do certain things.
I've never had the inappropriate aspect because most of the games I've ran, I might have a woman show up every so often, but her humor, the one woman I'm actually thinking about, her humor is like puts the guys to shame. I mean, she makes me blush from time to time. So that's never been an issue per se. The only issue I had was I was at shop, and this guy comes in. It's the first time, last time I ever saw him. He comes in. He sits next to one of the the player who shows up every time we game. He shows up, and the guy is autistic, and he's a good kid. I mean, he knows the game. I think games is his where he celebrates at. And the guy was just being an ass. Not that he was rolling bad. Bad rolls happen. But he starts blaming the kid next to him, who is, autistic. He's like, if this kid wasn't, he said things that are just inappropriate, and I'm not going to say them here. Yeah. And I said, you can either apologize or you can leave. And he stands up, and I'm thinking, I'm fine. I'll walk him out, make sure he gets his money back. And he takes a swing at me. I moved back, and I accidentally, I swung back. It was not good of me. It was very much not good of me. I'm not very proud of it, but I put him on his ass. I dragged him by his belt out the door. I told the owner what was going on, dragged his ass out to the front door, set him outside, and basically told them to call the cops for assault. The shop owner's like, do you have witnesses? I'm like, I got 7 people in the back and clarify what just happened. And that's the worst experience I ever had.
That wasn't really a male versus female thing, though.
No, that was just a player being an ass. So he was misbehaving, but it was not a guy versus a girl argument. It was a guy just being an ass.
I didn't mean an argument. I meant, more on the other end of, flirting and hitting on one another and, inappropriate, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I've been a bouncer before. I don't want that job.
I hope that we did have some my shining example of what not to do with the game, and I'll talk to the camera here for a moment. I know, right? No wig, unsubscribed. Okay, so I had a friend of mine that was playing through our Slumbering Czar campaign. The second time I ran this campaign to the 3rd act, and him and his wife kind of pissed off the rest of the group, which the rest of the group wasn't really too much. Aw, puppy. They weren't too happy with Mike and Liz playing in the game because Mike and Liz knew the rules back and forward, and they could create a character that would do combinations, and within 2 rounds, the bad guy, so many levels above, would be set on his ass. The players would have the upper hand. And these were players that played in person, and they just kind of pissed off everybody around the group. And nobody from that era plays in my game anymore, which is kind of like when those 2 moved to Ohio, that was the end of that saga. But at the very end, I was having the 2 of them play 2 characters each because I just wanted to run a module. I didn't want to just have them just go and do nothing or have small encounters. I wanted to have a game. And everybody else I knew would jump in for a bit. Oh, no, I'll leave. I'll go. And it happened so many times. And they were a married couple, and they made it kind of uncomfortable for a couple other people. They were really good together. And if they would have had 2 other players that had their level of mastery of Pathfinder, it would have been great. Because Pathfinder does have you can see certain players as they get better with certain classes, they just begin to put it together in their head, how the mathematics work and how everything fits together, and how if you take this little piece out here, it all falls apart. So tighten things up. Don't loosen them up. And if those 2 would have found 2 other players, it would have been fine that they could have gotten to work with. But they always push people away because people wanted to do 3-hour games. Mike and Liz are wanting to play 8-hour games, so you grab onto them so you can at least play. And then me and Liz had a day where I should have called game. I should have thrown in the towel. And these type of days, because everybody's had them where you and your boss yell at each other at work, or somebody, if you're in customer service, gets in your face and makes you feel this tall, and you get to a game and you're just wanting to roll dice. Well, in a dungeon master position, that's really not healthy for your players because you're going to stack them against some huge wall of monsters and just watch it collapse on them. And I didn't realize I was in that mood until the second combat, and I just kind of smashed the party. Didn't mean to, but I had some die rolls that happened, and they had some natural ones that happened. And so we're all fuming at each other. And I should have just called it before then because I realized I wasn't in the best healthy mindset. And I recognize this a lot better now. And even better, I try to run on a day where I don't have a day at work 45 minutes ago or an hour ago. Now I come to the table refreshed. I'm up. I've not done anything else but have coffee today and some breakfast, and I'm here to play. And Mike and Liz, they just were like, we're moving anyway. We're done. And about halfway through their trip up to Ohio, Mike called me. He was bawling. He's like, man, that didn't feel good about leaving like that. I said, I feel kind of shitty too. I wish you guys the best. And things between me and them, like they were never on really good footing after that, but we've lost track of each other, and we occasionally will tag each other on like Discord or Steam. Hey, how's it going? Things are good, etc. It's kind of like a digital Christmas card. It's that infrequent. So whenever we are playing these games, I just have to tell anybody who's listening, as much as you want to, if you're the DM, just smash the players because they've begged for this. They've pissed off the wrong people. They want to have a fight. Don't destroy the party in a TPK just for your glory, okay? Don't do that because you're going to have like some anger and resentment, and people have invested time at your table. It's good if the party asks for a TPK and they get it earnestly, like Mike and Liz got theirs because they rolled natural 1s and 2s for their saves, and their survival, 2 of the 4 of their characters just was wiped out at that moment. They're just dead. And then as they were trying to retreat, one got dominated and it just attacked the other one. It was a melee build, so the wizard got diced up. And so that party was gone. And then Mike and Liz and we had a discussion at the table, which involved lots of yelling and screaming. And you don't say things because you have, I should have just cut the game beforehand and be like, this is our last game. Let's go out and go have a beer together instead. You don't have to play, because if we play, if the wrong thing happens, you're going to remember me as a complete and total asshole. I'd rather be on good terms. We'll build another.
You are.
Well, I know, but I can build another group later. If you two can get your charisma to a 10 with no negatives, you guys can at least play with other people. And that was the thing. They would drive off other players because they were so into the game. They knew the game forwards and backwards, and now they're playing with me. And I've ran the game since 2008 was when the beta came out. I had the beta then. Yeah.
12 years, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this was back in 2016 when this happened. And that was the end of that era with me. But we say hi to each other now and then, and I hope they're doing well, but I don't really obsess about it because we both had, there was just too much alpha male between the 3 players there at the table, even though Liz is a female, born a female, she's born a child. She's a very much alpha mindset person, and her husband fight a lot. Just as a natural state of being, that's what they do. Just understand that. So their household has all of the thinking man games, all the magic, all the Ascension, all of these games that are just 2-player dual deck games. They do that together. They do this shit all the time. So they are, I guess you'd say, advanced gamers, even though they're borderline poverty. They find ways to do that, and that's great because that helped their relationship so much. But when it came to dealing with other people, it really hurt them. Yeah, and playing with a couple can be a tricky thing. But I want you guys to, if you're having a day where you're probably not at your best, it's not a good idea if you're getting ready for an encounter or combat, which can quickly go to TPK from 0 to 70 within 4 seconds. I recommend just before you get to the die rolling of initiative, take a 5-minute break. Go outside. Have a smoke. Or have a moment to where you're not staring at the table and the players, and go clear your fucking head so you don't have an angry exchange at the table. You're here to play and probably be friends with these people. I don't know anybody that says, no, me and Charlie Kirk sit down on McNeil Lair Hour and we have a regular session of Rapana Thuck against the most adversarial GM in the world, Bruce Lombardo. As much as I would love to do that for those political fucktards, I'm not going to PBS to run Rapana Thuck. But I'm telling you, you probably want to just clear your mind for a moment and refocus yourself instead of just plowing like I did, because I ran for 6 hours hard and we were having food delivered. We didn't stop to eat. We pulled up another chair next to us to graze while we were busy rolling dice with huge chunks of food in our mouth. Giant fucking chicken breast in Liz's mouth right here. Mike had the goddamn turkey leg. So, and Helsinki says, I'm committed to the opinion that normies cannot handle RPGs. They can't. And what the world's going through right now is a phase. Because people think, oh, this is cool. It's on Stranger Things or Critical Role does it. Listen, guys, just weather this out. Let this pass. We will have our hobby back. You'll still have people that can't handle human interaction or disappointment or a failure of a role. You're still going to get that because we are rewarding mediocrity instead of people that excel. You can't change that. Unless you're the fucking school system, you can't change that.
Nope. So
I'm just telling you, probably my biggest failure as a GM was I burned a good bridge with some players that were really, they could have helped me better as a GM. They could have helped me better as a human probably, because we knew each other pretty well. They lived 700 feet over to my right. We could game for 3 hours a night if we wanted to, which we kind of did. So I'm just going to let you know that I do recommend. Now, I'm not telling you to puss out on all your boss encounters. If the players are knocking on that door in the dungeon, let them have it. Let them prepare. Let them get proper spell prep, prayers, the recitations, the blessings of fervor. Let them do all that. Then batter the door in and just roll for initiative. Have fun with it.
Then drop a blue dragon and kill half the party.
But don't go off in your party from an angry perspective. I've done that one too many times, and as a DM, that will probably kill your table because butts will leave. Butts will leave your table if you game from an angry perspective. You don't want to do that. You want to blow off steam. You want to have fun. You want to roll dice, have clickety-clack math rocks. Kine, am I missing anything here?
Nope.
All right. I'm off my soapbox. Anybody here want to wrap up on their end?
I think you covered it there, Haas. I think that was really well said. And,
When did you get so eloquent? What the hell?
Occasionally, I will take a booster, and it will raise my charisma by 4 points for the next 6.5 minutes, but only to people that are of the gaming persuasion. To normies, it drops by 8.
That actually makes sense when it comes to you. I've seen you deal with people outside of the gaming habit when you worked at a grocery store in East Peoria.
God, be happy you don't work with me.
I don't work with most people.
Okay.
I don't work. I've been retired for 15 fucking years. Hurry up and catch up, guys.
Thurston Howell says, I wonder if Dolly Pop and Aaron, the pedantic, have an interesting take on that one. Yeah, almost. I would love to interview those two. I'll just say that loud.
I will make popcorn.
Now, if I can, I'm going to respond to Bruce's point with one additional thing. From the player's perspective also, if you have a bad day and you sit down and your dice just fucking hate you because you kicked a dog earlier in the day, or someone thinks you kicked a puppy earlier in the day, and then your dice decide that they are John Wick and they are going to kill you. The thing is remember is what Bruce said for the DM. That also works for the players. If you need to take a couple minutes, just tell your DM, hey, I need to step outside real quick. I need to clear my head, get back in the right mind space. I don't know a DM out there that's going to say, cool, let's take a 5-minute break, use the bathroom, grab a soda, grab a drink, whatever, and that the thing is that it is not only from the GM side, it is also from the player side that, you could look at it that way. Because most people, when they go to game, especially during the week, when they even if they work on the weekends and then they game on the weekends, they're going to have those days where, literally the dice are just like, nope, screw you. I'm doing what I want. You're going to die. So, and so definitely, you can take that step back also. So, and, truthfully, that might actually help overall, because to keep the whole DM player dynamic from, escalating like what Bruce was talking about.
Yeah.
And also remember is don't take it personal. It's a fucking game. You can always roll up another character. Yeah, it may not be as cool and shiny as the one you've been building for the past 6 months, but still, shit happens.
6.
Who are you going to call?
People only build campaigns for 6 months. I mean,
what kind of weak ass shit is that?
I must be doing something wrong. I've been building this one game for 15 years. Haven't found the people to run it with.
But you're also a perfectionist.
I am, but it's actually mostly finding the right crew to run this game with.
Yeah.
I don't think just anyone's going to be able to run this one.
For those of you interested, Jade will be holding tryouts in about 4 years from now.
You might want to add a 0 to the end of that.
I know.
I think it'll come out 2 weeks after Max's.
It'll come out 2 weeks after my death. How about that?
Yeah. In the meantime, we need to get that man into the game.
Only top tier players need to apply.
No, I guess I'll burn my application.
I won't even fill mine out. How about that?
I'll be dead before then, so maybe my son will stand a chance. If Kai and Bruce and the rest of you guys can all tutor him for 8 years after he gets out of the service.
I am praying for humanism, so that way I can get a robot body so I can just continue to write forever.
No, we're just going to put your head in a jar like Futurama.
I don't care.
I don't want to be in a jar. You guys hear me now. Do not put my brain in a jar. You will not like what you get.
In 1,000 years, I'm going to get a better robot body, and I'm going to just walk around and be president. So fuck y'all. I'm going to be okay.
And then
it worked for Nixon.
There will be whatever YouTube evolves into at that point. Someone will roll Kai's the head in the jar out, and Kai will have a rant, and then they'll roll him back off stage.
I'll see you all in 6 days, assholes.
All right. So I think we covered this one pretty well.
Roundaboutly.
In a roundabout way, yeah. But yeah, yes. So is there anybody that has any closers that they want to go ahead and throw out there?
Yeah, I just
before we call it a night.
I just got someone in the mail here, and
Is it more coffee?
no,
Is it soap?
no, it's not soap. Infinitail
Dun, dun.
Chronicles, War of the Trees, and I've been looking at this and had some stuff open up. So I got the standard edition because I just wanted the standard stuff. Oh, bubble wrap for the wife. Awesome. So, for those of you that are looking for a new comic to fall in love with, I was told this is the best that's come out in a very long time.
Nope, that's me. There you go.
All right. Let me open the Nylar here. He's got about 70 more of these. No, he's got 30 more of these on his GoFundMe. Or Indiegogo. And it looks pretty fucking cool. I'm going to be reading through this. I'll be reading through this for the next couple of days, and it gives you the comic, which it's not as thick as I want it to be. It's like 27 pages. Then he gives you
nice.
Nice.
Pretty art.
Yeah. So I'll be reading through this and give a review of it here in the next couple of days. But I'll be putting up a review online for Sunsworn, the Edge of Annihilation novel, and after that we get into the Wings of Vengeance comic sequel. Anybody here have anything they want to wrap up with? Start with Baron G-Rock. What do you have coming on next 72 hours?
A lot of studying, and also going to be trying to maybe get a video or two out for the next week.
Okay. Shadow and Sun, you're doing videos left and right. What is the one you're going to be releasing here in the next couple days?
Right now, normally we'd have a Thursday night craft video, but the little guy just got back from the water park, hanging out with his best friend before his best friend moves off to another state. So tonight we're taking a break, and normally we don't do anything but a Arduin video on Friday, which I will do an Arduin video tomorrow. Then I'll be hanging out with you guys over at Max's stream, and of course Sunday I'll be hanging out with Connell doing the book review of Dresden Files, etc. But now that I got y'all here, most of you already know I'm trying to ambush the little guy either on Max's stream, or we'll do a separate video tomorrow to wish him a happy birthday. So bring your singing voices. I'd really, really appreciate it.
Okay.
Making him turn. You see how red I am? Making him turn redder than me, because he loves you guys. He's been watching you, lurking in the shadows in any of your videos. Soaking up all the goodness that's coming out of all of us, from this hobby. And him and kids like him, they're the hope for the future of this hobby. There's a bunch of kids out there right now that they want no part of it, but rare kids like this guy and a few others out there, if we want to, have kids to play with and young adults when we're grandparents and things like that, and we want to, actually be able to continue gaming, when some of us are no longer here, moved away, etc. If we want this hobby to grow, it's little guys like him and a few others out there that, they're our only hope, Obi-Wan. And, he's absorbing it. And, you guys, most of you have met him in one fashion or another. And,
he wore his first stream with us.
Yeah.
Do you know how much credit he's gotten with us because of that?
Yeah. And he's, he's doing stuff, with me and Connell, and he we were on a live stream a couple nights ago, whatever, and we were out just him and I for 4 hours, and all kinds of people were coming in, it wasn't me. I was like, just zip my lip and let him go. Little miniature Kai drove Baron off. I see you shaking your head, but he knows the shit. He really does. And there's not a lot of kids out there that do. They don't know shit these days, and he doesn't have real uncles from my side, but he kind of does with you guys.
Aww.
Fair enough.
Who's got drunkles?
Drunkles.
I even asked. I said, when is he going to do a stream on his own?
I'm surprised he hasn't already. He just, he. If I put him in front of the StreamYard thing, he would, and he'd probably get more views than me. I don't know where he gets it. He says he gets the best of his mom and myself, both physically and mentally, and I don't know. I kind of wonder, who the milkman was.
Well, that would require the back door.
Giggity.
You beat him to it.
Jade, I know you're busy. I know you're probably not going to put out any content in the next few days. Are you going to at least have yourself some fun? It's the 4th of July weekend.
I do plan on, spending time with the wife, maybe getting like a board game night or something together. I'm not quite sure yet. We've put some feelers out to some people. So far, people are either working or too busy with other parties. And I'm also working 10 hours of overtime per week. Well, I have been working only 4 hours. This week will be the first week I put in 10. So there's that. But yeah, so 3-day weekend coming up. I'm hoping maybe Sunday to get in front of the camera and bite the bullet, so to speak. But I just have a hard time speaking to a camera and nobody else. Speaking with you guys on stream, easy. It just comes off the top of my head. Speaking to a camera, I just stumble all over the hell of my tongue and my words.
Why don't you send a message to Connell or Shadow or both after they're done with their stream? They're not going to go for 7 hours on a Sunday talking about full moon. Full moon's great.
And Grave Peril.
I mean,
don't do Grave Peril at the same time. Don't do that. That cheapens the series.
I was gonna say, if they did go on a 7-hour stream of full moon, they'll cover the entirety of the book almost word for word, because it only takes 8 hours to listen to.
Yeah, you could listen to the whole book now. Kai, you have any big plans this weekend?
I'm going to stab people in online video games on Sunday. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to either shoot people in Borderlands 3 or 2, or I'm going to stab people in Tina's Wonderland. I'm going to enjoy the fact that I have
like a strip club.
Tiny Tina's Wonderland, also known as Borderlands as D&D, very, very well, because it's actually funny, full of murder, death, and stabbings.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm not. If I watch stream, I don't care. I might. If I don't, I don't. But I'm going. But I'm on the end of another 50-hour week of stupid extra work with 12 hours of overtime. You know what? I'm going to go stab people and have fun with a few friends. And if other people have Tiny Tina's Wonderland or Borderlands 3, feel free to find a way to find me on Steam. There's ways of doing it, and we'll just go have a big fest of shooting people, and it'll be great. If not, I'm going to be with a few friends in quiet, in private. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm just going to have fun for once.
Cool. Cigar DM, Connell. What's the work you're doing?
Well, I already said what I'm doing this weekend. I was actually going to be a smart ass when you said, "Does anybody have anybody have any last words?" And I was going
Here we
to
go.
go with, well, a man walks into a brothel with a honeycomb and a jackass. The madam walks over and says, "What can I do you for?" The man says, "I need a woman to lay with, for mine has left me." The madam says, "Whatever for?" And with a honeycomb and a mule, the man says, "My wife found a genie in a bottle and granted her 3 wishes. The first wish was for a house fit for a queen, so she gave her this damn honeycomb. The second wish was for to have a nice ass. So here is the mule." The madam says, "What was the last wish for?" "Well, she asked the genie to make my cock hang past my knees." The madam says, "Well, that doesn't sound so bad." The guy looks up at her and says, "Well, I was originally was 6'3". Yeah.
All right. So we got the holiday stream coming up on Friday night, the chill stream with Max and Legion of Myth. There's some things going on in that circle that we'll discuss tomorrow over there, Friday night chill stream. That's all I want to talk about with that on this stream. I do want to say, for everybody that's not going to watch that, have a great weekend. Go watch some fireworks if you're here in America. If you like fireworks, watch America. We're going to have things blowing up all over from Saturday to Monday. And everybody, please take care of yourself. Come back here next Thursday night. We don't really have the numbers that we want without you. So I appreciate the fact that I've had about 6 to 8 people here the whole time. Really do. And it means a lot to us. Garrett, I know you're getting some great numbers on your streams. That makes me really happy. I look at your live stream counts and they're just off the charts.
Well, it all happens after the fact, so people are seeing it after once I spill it out over social media and everything. So yeah, I think that's where most of that's coming from.
Okay. Calvinani says, "I can't keep up with Shadow's videos. He does a lot of videos. The one you want to watch is the Gun Show Hall. That's what I recommend." Thurston Howell, thank you, sir. It was a pleasure. Anybody else want to say goodbye for me before I shut this down?
We're all good, man. Happy 4th of July. We love you guys.
Happy Fireworks Day.